So, welcome to the comfort zone. And you know how you got to this comfort zone? I'll ask you a question, you who is listening. What is the narrative that you found when you were born into this realm we call planet Earth? Mine, making a living. And when you finally die, you'll finally live. So, as you've been following up, I have described to you how we get put in a position where we're placed in the comfort zone. And as you can see, I'm comfortable here. Why? When I was born, on a piece of paper, I was told my name. Of course, the gender is obvious, male or female. And from that day, they started counting how long I'll be able to experience this life. They always have life expectancy. So that's why you're always in a hurry that you get to 60, then you're not lived. We're living life in chunks: childhood, teenage, adulthood, old age. Death is an age too. And so, because of the narrative that I was born in, I was given an identity on the day of birth. And eventually, when I become of school age, I had to keep passing a grade, an exam, and then they give you a piece of paper and say, guess what? You're the genius. Those who didn't make that mark, they're idiots and they're going to suffer in life. And of course, you belong to a nation or a race. And the race, like I said, government has a right over you. And they tell you who you can and cannot be as a citizen of that nation. So you get a national ID. I think I have mine here, telling me who I am and what nationality I am, so that when I need to travel other parts of the world, this is how I identify myself. Of course, with the good grades, I finally got a good job. I've done so many, by the way. And so every place I went, I was given an identification. You're here to do this X, Y, and Z. Let's face it, every time you are employed, your energy and your time is going to be used. And in exchange, you're given a certain amount of money, what they call a salary. I, for one, I have since abdicated or erased being employed. I've chosen to show up as a free enterprise so that my energy is fully available and my areas of value of exchange are expanded. We'll talk about that in another podcast, how we're supposed to let money work for us, through us, by us, because we never make money. Money is energy, and energy never gets created or destroyed. It simply takes on a different form, what we call dollar, shilling, pound, euro. I've touched all those pieces of paper, but they are not the ones supposed to define you. You're the one who defines how they convert. So here we're in the comfort zone. You have gone to good schools. You've got a job. You finally get married, making life, as they call it. And you're still skittling down along this experience called life. And you realize, I am not yet fully explored. I'm not yet fully expanded. So you start asking questions. My question started with my church, those who are supposed to take care of the spiritual part of me, which by the time of working age 20 had been put to sleep, because I was told how my spiritual being has to operate through another being outside. I'm not going to name names here, but I'm giving my experience. So the lady you're looking at was a preacher girl. How did I end up getting so caught up in that church life? I was seated one day when I had just had my first son. I was the woman who would wake up, prayer warrior. Ladies, you know what I'm talking about. A woman who does not pray, her household falls apart. That was me. I'd wake up at 2 a.m. and I'm chasing the demons so that they don't touch my children. Because that's the narrative I had been taught. A wife is a prayer warrior. She prays hard. The life of that family will be successful. So one morning, I didn't pray. I didn't do the shakazaravadara. I simply woke up and I was tired. And I remember telling myself before I sat in the chair that, honestly, this can't be life. I am tired of waking up in the morning. I'm tired of chasing demons. I'm tired of covering my family in the blood of Jesus. I am just tired. And something happened to me that was so profound. As soon as I said that, all the energy of the heaviness, the weight of the comfort zone, I'm married, I've got everything that the narrative has asked me to fit in, fell off me. And I remember just slightly falling asleep where I had sat, and my body was seated on the chair and I was out of it. They call it an out of body experience. Those of you who have had it, you've had it. But you see, from the way I was raised as a child, anything that was a spirit was a ghost. It was there to harm you. That is the day I got to experience the real me, the invisible me, who is having a human experience, but is invisible and is a spirit and is a light body. So there I was hovering, and before I knew it, I was out of my home. I went to countries that I didn't know, but the moment I said, "Where am I fell to the ground wherever I had traveled. And I remember very clearly someone where I had landed, I don't know what country that was, touched me on my shoulder and said, "She's not ready." And I'm like, immediately, I was sucked back into my body. I woke up. The next day it happened again, but this time I was more conscious that, hey, you mean we can even leave our books? But I got a bit scared. From the upbringing I was given, anything ghost-like is a ghost. So I didn't share this with anybody. I simply asked one of my sisters, which pastor do you go to? Because I was now coming from the Anglican, and that's how I ended up in the born-again churches. I was raised in Anglican Christianity. Now I had gone to the born-again Christianity. So I was given a specific prophet. I went to him. I told him about the out-of-body experience, and he told me, you need to pray over it, blah, blah, blah. In the process, they told me how I had the gift of speaking, how blah, blah, blah. Long story short, that's not what I'm here about, because I've since realized what you put your energy on, you grow. Whatever you takes your attention is what decides and defines your experience. And before I knew it, I was sucked into the church life, because I knew that's the safe way I would not have those out-of-body experiences. And because now that my attention was no longer on that awareness that I'm a spirit being, those episodes stopped. I preached, I taught, but every time I'd get into the pulpit, something the real me would tell me, the experience here is over. It's time to leave. So people who saw me thought I was hobnobbing from one church to another. Then finally one day I traveled to Nairobi, and I woke up in the middle of the night and clearly had my higher self say, "School's out. It's time to live the spirit life." And I'm like, what's that all about? Long story short, I left the church. And that's when I started questioning, are we just the mere flesh? Because I had already experienced the out-of-body experience. Or are we spirit beings here supposed to have an experience of the human being? But how? Because church does not teach you that. Church prepares you for a savior outside and life after you have finished making a living. They never tell you that you are the spirit being here having a human experience. And how am I supposed to have the human experience? Living life and not making a living. So what is living life? Being aware of the sense of who you are, your consciousness, that whatever you pay attention to, give an intended idea, and emotionally engage with, you cause it to be an experience. Everything you've experienced in life is temporary. That's not who you are. They are your experiences. So that's when I started questioning, who am I? Why am I here? And what am I all about? Is it just making a living and dying and living and dying? So my first wake-up call was from my religion, which had given me the comfort zone that since my life was given to Christ, when I die, I'll make a living again by becoming alive. Then I went to employment. Employment was fun because it was more like in line of who I am, loving to teach, talk, broadcast. But my lastest experience is when I finally said, I can no longer be a hypocrite. I since realized that after I left church, no one told me who God was and where he was, because I was now having the personal experience. But how do you come out and tell the masses? Because majority don't know that. It's just recently when I realized there are many who are actually walking in that awareness of being. We shall talk about that when we go to the who, why, and what of you. So my last previous place of service, I don't call it employment because employment is enslavement. I was struggling. We went into COVID and there was a disruption. I since realized the disruption was telling us to go within and know the true self. While in COVID, I had a desire that I wanted to set up a radio that would impact people's lives, change their mindset, and, commune them. So my desire was put out to the universe. Long story short, someone had the same vision, and it was supposed to be a city radio, Kampala City Radio, Voice of Kampala. You will hear it one day. So the person who brought me in to do the project, we were in the same alignment. Now, that's the second experience I realized. The people who come into your life are in line with whatever you're desiring. And mine was big. A city radio, that's what I wanted, because the real me, the limitless immortal creator force, was born to have a human experience from broadcasting massively a specific message. And that message was supposed to change the thinking of people of who they have seen themselves to be, and then it will bring them to commune together. But now, once again, I was doing it in the reverse, because it was mindset change instead of total changing of mind and eradicating the mind you've been living through of making a living, and put on the mind that shows you that you are the divine governing presence. I don't want to use the word Christ. I don't want to use the word Krishna, because all those are consciousnesses of people who are aware that they are a supreme spirit being, the divine God fractal, having a human experience. But maybe let me use Christ. So I had now become aware of the Christ consciousness, that you are the divine spirit here with your own unique gifts and abilities, but I have not been present in that sense of my being and my awareness of being. How do I explain it? When you go to school, they have roll call. They have your name and the class you're in. A teacher calls you, and when you hear your name, because that's who you know yourself to be, you say you are present. Same thing with life. We have shown up in the narrative of making a living. I am only human. So you are decreasing, for lack of better word, self-destructing from fully expressing. Life is an individual, unique, and collective self-expression. You were born with a freedom to fully express your abilities and your talents. But when you're given the identity of the comfort zone, filled with fear and unawareness that you're a spirit being, you fear to leave. So I recently disengaged from my place of employment, because it finally hit me that the more I did this, the more I'd become afraid. You see, when they tell you that if you don't have a job, you will not survive, you fear, because they feared you into the comfort zone and you didn't question. When they tell you if you don't go to a church or wherever you worship, God's gonna punish you and you will not make the access to the other life when you finish living this life. Still trying to argue with that. That's how I ended up saying life can't end and then start again. What was living it? So I want to ask you right now, in whatever area of you experiencing life, which of those comfort zones are you at? Have you ever questioned, is life about going to a place and submitting my energy and time to earn a limited salary, yet it's my energy that I am converting? If you're fearful, that's okay, because that's the comfort zone that we are all narrated into to live from. And when you're not conscious that you are more than a salary, that you're more than employment, that your energy is crying to give service, the word is supposed to be service. That's why we have high unemployment. You'll never dare to step out of the comfort zone. So I want you to ask yourself, if you lost your job, let's use COVID. We were all unemployed. Did you die? Who was there who was anxious? Did you die? And even after the anxiety went away, who was there? Now that is the true sense of self that I'm coming to speak to. The podcast Unfold Yourself is for you to do it yourself. If I had not experienced what I'm sharing here, and I came before you to talk about it, you would say I'm a liar. But I'm confident in what I'm saying. Everything I'm sharing here, I've experienced. So when we set up this podcast, me and myself and I, and you're asking me who is me, myself and I, the physical person you're seeing here, the ego who has since been occupying my place of identity and been showing up and saying I'm present, and my higher self who is free and liberated and knows that they can be, do, and have whoever they are, realize that no one can do this. The self-imprisonment that society has given you, no one can undo your imprisonment by yourself. So by sharing this with you, I'm hoping, and that's where we're headed. Actually, the word is not hoping. I know, but I've shown up at the right time. And those who want to be helped to unfold themselves will sit one day where I'm seated here, and we go through your story. And I'll help you identify the parts of your story where your true self was knocking and saying, enough of this. Stop making a living. Stop living limited. Open the door, know yourself, and start living life. We'll talk about what living life is. So my question for you right now, are you in the comfort zone? Are you fearful that I can tear up this idea and I'll still be here? My recent job that I stopped servicing, which I call a place of deployment, they had an audit and they asked for my academic papers. Long story short, I got to be contracted without my academic papers because now I had gone through the journey. I am not my papers. Many of you right now in this point of life, or maybe not many of you, are identifying with your academic papers. You are identifying with your academic papers. You are identifying with your title, which you hold in your place of employment, or you're identifying with the role that you play in a relationship. Those who are married, you've taken on the role of I'm a wife. And those who are husbands, I'm a husband. And of course, the men will say, I am the bread earner. These days, both earn the bread, whatever that means. Or you are still in school and they're telling you, you got to get high grades, you got to course. You're still pushing them into the comfort zone. I have good news for you. All the fear stories and fear narratives that have put you in the comfort zone are supposed to help you get to that uncomfortable place about what life is. And when you finally say you are fed up, you don't commit suicide, no. When you say you're finally fed up, it's time for you to go within yourself and unfold everything that has limited, everything that has folded down your powerful presence, everything that has folded you into a limited being, everything that has folded you down that you're only human. Layer by layer, removing it and experiencing it yourself. Because when you do not experience it, you're still going to keep looking outside of there that who can help me live life? And that's why we have the Unfold podcast. I'm sharing with you how I got into the comfortable zone, but I'm also going to share with you how I got out of the comfortable zone. And now I'm in the zone of I am aware of my sense of being. I'm aware of my state of being, and my state of being is not my national ID. It's not my workplace ID. It's not my academic qualifications. It's not my birth certificate. Neither is this, which was the most self-imprisonment. I don't know what you subscribe. I almost swore by this book that is what's going to define my life. It has the truth, but it's not what's going to unfold you, though the truth is there that unfolds you, but no one tells you. I'm this place right now where I am aware that I'm my own governing presence. My body is the vehicle of experience and expression uniquely, and I'm now unfolding my abilities. You know, you have the other abilities that help you think beyond the five senses. And that's how I go to experience the out-of-body experience. You have the clairs. We'll not talk about them today. And now I'm learning to master being present in the sense and awareness of my true essence. And that is the divine uniquely here to have a life's experience, not to make a living, life experience from the unique talents and abilities that I have as a superior being in a human body and co-creating with others. You see, you are the superior immortal being, limitless, life-giving, force that is here to create a life experience for itself and others in this time or realm that you're in. And it comes to you from the awareness of being. Self-help books say self-awareness. I say sense of self and awareness of being, the higher understanding of who you are. So stay with me and I take you on the journey of unfolding yourself so that you stop asking the question, who am I? What am I? And why am I here? We're going to talk about the true sense of you and the awareness of being. And I'll only say this, if you do not experience it, it will be just another story that you found on YouTube, on TikTok, on WhatsApp, and you walked on by and went back to your soul, and went back to your self-imprisonment because you're too scared. You are afraid. You're afraid when this paper is taken away, when the identity of your birth, and when this holy book is thrown away, you'll cease to exist. No, you will not. You'll come alive and know what it means to live a life as a superior being, having life's experience in a human body and having it from control, self-power, self-design, co-creating from this place we call love unlimited. Because where there's love unlimited, there will be no competition, there will be no fighting, there will be no chasing life. It will just be creating the abundance that already exists. So will you help me help you unfold yourself?